Today, we're discussing the numerous economic challenges that have beset Nigeria and the problems and challenges that workers in Nigeria have. With me in the studio today is a veteran journalist and the uh, Director of Publicity of the Nigeria Labour Congress. He was also a very senior legislative aide and has been involved in a lot of communications uh, solution finding. Benson Upah, you're welcome, sir.
It is my pleasure, Honorable.
Yes, the first question I want to ask you is this. So much is happening in the country. Workers are complaining. Workers are crying. There's hunger in the land. Is the hunger reaching the Nigerian Labour Congress at all?
First and foremost, I would want to tell you that we are part and parcel of this national cry, the cry across the land, the cry of pain, anguish, hunger, poverty, and desperation. And I want to tell you that we are not happy about this, and we have not been sleeping on this matter either.
When you say you have not been sleeping on this matter, what do you mean?
We initiated the process of a new national minimum wage when the last one expired, and we canvassed for 515,000 naira. After much going back and forth, we did agree to do 250,000 grudgingly. But of course, you know what happened. Eventually, the National Minimum Wage Committee made a recommendation of about 60,000 or 60-something thousand, which led to our going on a national strike action because the government, which led the other social partners, could not justify why it should propose 60 or 60-something thousand. In the final analysis, Mr. President apprehended this process and personally took over negotiations with the leadership of the organized labor. And he gave them two options. He said, let us discuss. I said, look, I'm ready to pay your 250,000, but subject to a raise in the pump price of petroleum, 2,500 per liter. In the alternative, I'm ready to pay you 70,000, status quo ante remaining. Of course, we knew at that point in time that 70,000 naira was not the best cut in town. What it was the best we could do at that very time, I took it and walked away in good faith. But barely a few months after that, the presidency reneged on this promise and increased the pump price of petroleum products. It also jacked up tariffs by a whopping 250% plus. On the basis of that, we protested. We shut down the discos, the TCN, and the Minister of Power, and government asked us come back to the negotiating table. We went. In fact, I recall our visit to the joint leadership, to the joint session of the National Assembly, where the Senate President in person said this matter had been dealt with, that there was no need to go any further, to do anything further. At that meeting was the Minister of Power himself. So we did, on the basis of that, we stopped further action. But to our horror, government acted in breach. So we have not been happy. We have been agitating. We have asked for better conditions because I tell you the truth, the basis or the parameters that made the 70,000 naira a deal no longer exist. Okay? Those parameters no longer exist. So there is every justification there is every justification to ask for a new wage at the moment. And government knows the truth. And until it takes decisions that can stabilize the economy, make the economy more productive, except it takes decisions that give its reforms a human face, that make Nigeria a living place, not a living hell, we will continue to make our agitations publicly known. At the moment, I tell you, we are paying what I call the Washington rates. If we are paying the Washington rates, it is only fair that at least we are giving a semblance of Washington wages.
On that, how many states in the country have implemented the new minimum wage?
I want to say that quite a number of states have implemented. In fact, on my one hand, I can tell you how many have not. In fact, if you do not mind, I can go over the list one by one. Do you mind?
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Abia State, we have a negotiated implementation. Adamawa State, negotiated 70,000. Akwa Ibom State, negotiated 80,000. Anambra State, 70,000, and negotiated. Bauchi, 70,000. Bayelsa, 80,000, negotiated. Benue, 75,000, negotiated. Borno, 70,000, negotiated. Cross River, 70,000, negotiated. Delta, 77,500, negotiated. Ebonyi, 75,000, negotiated. Edo, 70,000, ahead of time. Any moment from now, they are going to pay additional 5,000. In fact, Edo holds the record of being the first to pay in advance. Ekiti State, 70,000 negotiated. Enugu, 80,000, but yet to be negotiated. Now, let me explain the difference between negotiated and non-negotiated. A negotiated payment is when government of a state sits down, the government of a state sits down with the leadership of the trade unions and says, okay, the national minimum wage is 70,000. We're not going to pay anything less than that, as that will amount to a breach of the law. However, in the context of enhanced payments, that is consequential payments, this is how much we're going to pay. It is, and they graduate it up. So it is not enough to say, I am going to pay 70,000, since that is the law. If you pay 70,000, what happens to other people? Okay? Because if you pay somebody who was earning 35,000, 70,000, you put him or her now above somebody who was earning 55,000. So it is important that you now come and do adjustment consequentially in order to maintain seniority and equity. So Enugu, even though...
You were reading the list.
Yes.
The question was, how many states?
Yes, Enugu. Yes.
Go ahead.
Enugu State is paying 80,000, but yet to complete negotiation on consequential adjustment. Okay? FCT, 70,000. And negotiated Gombe, 71,451. Imo, 70,000. Jigawa, 70,000. Kaduna, 70,000. Kano, 71,000. Kaduna, 72,000. Kebbi, 75,000. Kogi, 72,500. Kwara, 70,000. Lagos, 85,000. Nasarawa, 70,500. Niger, 80,000. Ogun, 77,000. Ondo, 73,000. Osun, 75,000. Oyo, 80,000. Plateau, 70,000. Rivers, 85,000. Sokoto, 70,000. Taraba, 70,000. Yobe, 70,000. Zamfara, 70,000 negotiated. Initially, some of the states simply implemented the 70,000 without doing anything about the consequential adjustment. Some of the governors did that out of innocence. They didn't know. They did it out of ignorance. When the matter was drawn to their attention, some readily adjusted. Others were quite combative. But of course, they have all been reined in, okay? So they've seen the need to whatever.
So overall now, all states have implemented the new minimum
Yes,
wage.
based on the status report before me, yes.
Okay. And you are not satisfied with the wages.
No,
You said
the
the
value.
wages not the value is not much. So what is going to happen?
Yes, I've just told you that we knew from the beginning that the value wasn't enough, but that value has been further eroded, now reduced to virtually nothing. It can't even get you a bag of rice. It can't do anything for you. So even though based on the MOU we signed, the cycle was reduced to 3 years from 5 years. We now don't have to wait for the 3 years to mature before we formally demand for a new minimum wage. We don't have to. And we're also opting for a wage review. There is a difference between a national minimum wage, which is a cyclical thing. It used to be a 5-yearly cycle, but reduced to 3 years now. A wage review is all encompassing. Okay? The last time that a national wage review was done, I think it was about 50%, and that was about 15 years ago. When the wage review of public office holders was done a year or two after that, it was about 300%, a whopping 300%. And recently, one was done for the judicial officers. Of course, we have been among those who have canvassed a more equitable earning for our officers on the bench. So we do not begrudge the system for raising their wages. And you're also aware that another one was proposed, 143%. I do not know which is which now, but generally all we're saying is that a wage review is overdue for workers. Okay, a wage review is overdue for workers in the public sector. Okay, the organized private sector.
People are saying that wage review or minimum wage is not the problem, is not the major problem of Nigerian workers. Like you did point out yourself, the withdrawal of fuel subsidy and all the other increases in services that government provides or should be supervising have risen up. So
Well,
even if you do a salary review of 100% for workers now, it's unlikely to solve the problems to give them a living wage.
let us look at it from this angle. Why we know that the infrastructure, the infrastructure regime needs to be beefed up. Why we appreciate the fact that benefits like healthcare access to healthcare have to be made more all-encompassing, we cannot run away from the need for a wage review, because a wage is your personal income, okay? It's your personal income, and it is to a certain extent a response to the value of labor. So you cannot say because let us have good roads, let us have a good rail network, because of this, wages should be kept low. No. In fact, you need higher wages to be able to stimulate the process of provision of public transport system, of public health system. You need enhanced wages. Now, let me give you this example. You recall when Obama became president, America was in recession. But what did Obama do? He raised wages. He gave money to business, particularly big businesses. So he cranked, he cranked the American economy, which went into a bullish run until even the first 4 years of Donald Trump. So this matter is synergic. You need to empower your workers, the populace, to be able to patronize your services, your products, and all of this. So people need good wages. And like I said earlier on, the rates we are paying now are equivalent to Washington rates, which the Bretton Woods institutions forced on us. The Bretton Woods institutions, IMF and the World Bank, gave this script that we should pay more taxes, pay higher taxes, pay more for petrol, even when they know full well that the common person on the street is not responsible for the crimes in the fuel economy. So to cut this short, in order not to mix it up,